It's something I sort of defined myself to do when I do a documentary in animation, which seems completely contradictory, but I did these interviews with a linguist and a philosopher, Noam Chomsky, and I started the work to animate everything he said frame by frame, and I'm in the middle of doing that. Maybe it's going to be ready in 1 year. So, but I really love animation. There's nothing more liberating for me. I restarted when I was actually editing the Green Hornet, and I had a lot of frustration going through the process. So I started to do this technique, which was just I had this 16mm camera that is you crank it by hand, and then you can shoot frame by frame. It's called a Bolex. It's very practical. And I draw on the line box with Sharpies, and I take a picture each time, and it's very basic. But this, with his voice and his ideas, leads to something quite original, I think. So I really love doing that. What was the first question?
How did you felt, and why did you decide to film The Green Hornet?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's like a very commercial movie.
Yeah, well, the movie we're screening tonight, it's the Piano Rhyme. It's not perfect, and I remember when I finished it, I didn't know if it was okay or not okay. It's very hard for me to have an opinion on my work, but I wanted to do something about communities and the sense of movies as something popular, not elitist, not like so. Like for instance, all the movies they are making or remaking are very prominent blockbusters. So I always have this interest into big movies, like popular movies, but more the type that's not so serious. And it's true that in the genre of superhero, since Batman was so successful, it has become like mandatory to have this darkness and this sort of epicness, which I don't like at all. And I think that's why it was a sort of a clash with a certain type of audience who likes this type of movies and what we did. On my side, I had worked on a project for the Green Hornet 15 years ago where it was really crazy and it was much more like my ideas, and it was not done by the studio. So when the project came back to me, it was a new story, and it was Seth Rogen and his writing partner, and I had liked very much Pineapple Express and Superbad, the two movies I just did together were a mix of it was a type of humor that I found I could work with. Now, when this confronted with the studio and the producer within Fast and Furious, it was an interesting mix, not the easiest mix to work from. And, but I did it until the end, and I sort of like it. A lot of people want to see it with their kids and like it, and some people hated it. But he did his money back and more money, and so I didn't waste anyone's money. And I had a couple of times in the movie where I really enjoyed it, where all the car is breaking everything apart. I would have liked to give more idea to the story to make it a little more like me, but it was not possible.
Hello, Michel.